Good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. James has a lot of information to share, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. James recently joined us from Premier Sotheby's International, located here in Naples, and they have offices up the coast. And he was their director of marketing for the region that is our area. James has he's brought a wealth of experience in marketing. How many years, James? 25?
25 years in real estate marketing.
25 years. You have a developer background and just phenomenal experience that is now available to us. I'm just blown away by the things he's already accomplished. Just bringing great ideas and fresh energy to our marketing department. So without further delay, I'll turn it over to James, but if you have questions, feel free to just unmute yourself, ask your question, or if you prefer, you can type your question into the chat. Take it away, James.
Great, thank you. Well, welcome everyone, and good morning. Today, we're just gonna go over some marketing strategy. We're gonna talk about some do's and don'ts and some general things that you probably should be doing, or hopefully you already are doing. And just give you guys some tips, and we'll talk about some of the tools we have as well once we go through the process. Again, and like Tess said, if you have any questions, feel free to just type in the chat or reach out and speak up, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So, all right, so marketing communications is really the umbrella of all marketing, including PR and marketing and advertising and promotions and all of it. So it's a general umbrella over marketing. So marketing on purpose, just statement here, which I'm going to read, versus potluck marketing is a difference between having an integrated plan and strategy and not having one. Basically, that assures your message is being delivered to your target audience in a memorable way and on a consistent basis. So it's very important that you have a plan. And in that plan, consistency is always the key. And if there's one message I can leave you here today, it's do not ever do anything just once. I say that because it's like if you placed an ad in a magazine or a newspaper or on television or whatever you did, you're just as good as taking that money and lighting it on fire if you're only going to do it once, because it's not going to further your message or your brand down the road. So consistency is always key in marketing, and you want to keep up that frequency. So with that, you'll see that I put a simple equation up here on the screen. And all marketing essentially all boils down to three things, and that's reach, frequency, and timing. Okay, it's the basic premise of marketing. So with reach, obviously you want to reach as many people as you possibly can. Okay, frequency, you want to reach those people as many times as you possibly can. And timing, it's at the time they want to use your product or service. So it sort of works like this. So let's just say I have a group of 500 or 1,000 people or whatever it is in my sphere of influence or my farm area that I'm either sending postcards to or sending emails to or whatever it may be. So I'll take the postcard example right now. So I got a farm area. I send a postcard out. Okay, I get that postcard. Now I'm the customer. I look at it. I turn it over real quick. I flip it. I read it, and I throw it in the garbage. I get another postcard from you next month. I do the same thing. I flip it. I see it. I throw it in the garbage. Now I get an email from you. I read it real quick. I scan it. I hit the delete button. I might see you in the newspaper. I scan it, flip the page. So I keep doing this. And all of a sudden now, and you guys know how long some of these cycles go, I'm thinking about selling my home. And then at that particular time, here comes another postcard in the mail. And I look at it and I say, wow, I've gotten emails from this person. I've gotten 27 postcards. I've seen ads. They're obviously very active in the market. So why don't I give that person a call? That's the timing portion of that equation that I'm talking about. So you need to keep the frequency up in your marketing messages to eventually hit that timing portion of the equation. And that's why I just said you never want to do anything just once, because you might get lucky, and I will tell you that you may get extremely lucky and hit that timing portion that somebody's happened to be wanting to sell their home or in the market to buy a home, and you send them a postcard and or an email, and you get a response from them. But ultimately, marketing message, and I think now it used to be 3 times, right? They used to say you got to get your message in front of people 3 times. Well, now it's about 8, and it's got to be a quick read and a quick hit to get your point across, to be memorable, and to get that phone to ring or get that email to call. So reach, frequency, and timing, right? That's the general purpose of a marketing, and to get it to work. So any good marketing plan, and I say a plan because you have to have a plan, and I'll show you one on the next slide here, includes a media mix. So, and you'll see, and I'll go over some of these things. If you're doing just one thing all the time, it's probably not going to work either. Okay, so you have to have a good marketing mix, because I just sort of explained that you want people to see in the newspaper or in the or in an email or a postcard or networking or any of those things, in order to create a good marketing mix and be in multiple mediums. Okay, so you can see I've got a bunch listed here on the left-hand side. Print, obviously including newspaper, magazine, or some of your community publications. Like if you have a gated community that might have a newspaper, or like Pelican Marsh or Pelican Bay or something like that, might be a good idea for you. Obviously direct mail, we talk about farming individual neighborhoods. So you want to make sure you're including some of that in your media mix. Your digital, obviously we just increased our digital spend. Hopefully you guys saw that new brochure we created. I sent out a couple of weeks ago. So you want to make sure that you're touching somebody digitally, because everybody's, they say 90% of people that are searching for a home are starting online these days. So talking about your email blast, your digital direct mail, and we have some tools for you to do that. And then your online display, like I said, there's opportunities for you there as well. I know if you have listings over 1 million, LPI has opportunities for you to buy and bundle packages, and I'll get into that here a little bit later. Obviously, social media is very, very big these days. Facebook's, they say the average age of people joining Facebook these days is over the age of 50 or something like that. So it's a growing segment of the older population now as well. So, and typically a lot of people like to see, even the older generations like to see their kids and their grandchildren on Facebook and keep up with them. And LinkedIn and Instagram is the same way. So, and of course, networking events. And I obviously don't want to leave that out, because this business is a face-to-face business still. And most likely your listings and sales are going to come from either your sphere of influence and people who you know, or from within your database, most likely. So, and that also includes, I have your open houses, and that's really big. Obviously, you guys know in our market, it's a great way to meet people and the neighbors. And there's a story that I have that a couple years ago, I know somebody that was sitting an open house in Quail West. Happened to be someone else's open house that they were sitting for them, and the neighbor came over from next door, liked that person sitting in the open house, and listed their $4.5 million home with them, just because they were sitting in the open house next door. So I would absolutely make sure you're doing that as well.
James, 2 questions for you real quick.
Sure.
First off, I see people taking notes. Will we make this available, your presentation available, when we post the recording for the presentation?
Sure, I can absolutely send this out. I have this in a PDF format, and we can get this out to everyone, no problem.
Beautiful. Second question comes from Deb Glatchen. She wants to know how you determine timing. And Deb, I'm guessing this was from the previous slide.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to determine timing. That's why you have to have frequency in your marketing messages. So you can never necessarily know when someone's going to be ready to sell their home. again, that's why you have to have frequency in your marketing messages. So for example, in your direct mail campaign, obviously you want to keep that up over a period of time. You want to make sure that you're hitting someone, if monthly, if you can, if not at least 8 times a year minimum, I would say, in your farm areas. If you're farming out, you might slow down a little bit in the summer months. But in order to hit that timing part of the equation, you have to keep up the frequency. Okay. All right. This is just a sample marketing plan, and this is really just for you to see. I absolutely 1000% encourage you to do something similar. I can send this email out or this spreadsheet out for you if you like, for you to just fill in. Now, I've just simply broken this down, and you can see by the different media. We've got newspaper and magazine, direct mail, digital, and networking. So I like to do this. Now, I've been doing this my whole career. Obviously, I do this for our budget here, and it's more of a budget to me. It's a plan. So I use this as a structured plan in addition to putting it together to figure out what my costs could be and would be if I follow my plan. So I find that when you do something like this, it really keeps you on track. So I can go down and I can go under the digital section, and I can say, okay, digital direct mail, email blast to my personal database weekly, and I can check off that I've done that. So I'm a big list kind of person, and I think that it keeps you accountable as well. And I like to check things off and move on to the next thing. But in addition to organizing your marketing plan, again, this also keeps you honest and said, okay, I've done that this month, or I've followed my plan all the way through to the end. So I always help you put something together like this, and always send this, and of course send this spreadsheet to you for you to fill in yourself. So again, I would, even if it's not this particular format, if you're not an Excel type person and don't like spreadsheets, you can do it in a Microsoft Word or whatever you like. I like to do it very organized in a way that this sort of shows me the whole year, and I can see what I'm doing and what my budget is. So this is something that I would absolutely recommend. All right, so we'll move on to some messaging. So I know you guys are always, those of you are sending out postcards or you're doing ads and some publications, and some people struggle with, what do I say and how do I say it? And I will tell you that nobody reads at all. And that is a statement that I swear by. And Tess and I actually had a conversation about this the other day. She says, I don't read. I said, Tess, no one reads, including me. No one reads those messages, right? So less is always going to be more in your body copy. Okay, so I would absolutely recommend bullet points. So if you're putting these long paragraphs, I would absolutely limit those sentences and those big, huge paragraphs to just your top level stuff. So I have the creates inquiries here under less is more, nobody reads. So if you're giving everything to everyone all up front in a big long paragraph, let's say they do read it for some odd reason. Now you've given them everything, and they don't have a reason to come and reach out to you, to pick up the phone and or email you to want more information about that property. So sometimes that does help you if less is more, create inquiries for you. So I would also say, not everyone necessarily knows what AP style is, but it's just a very, it's a style of, for your capitalization, punctuation, and that type of stuff, a news style. So, it's not necessarily good to do all caps. Email etiquette and or direct mail etiquette says all caps, you're screaming at me, right? And there's never a reason ever for multiple explanation points. One is plenty. People will get it. So I would tell you, just make sure that you stick to like a newspaper format, which is the AP style of writing. Not saying that you can't get creative in what you write, you can. But as far as the style for capitalization, punctuation, and that stuff is stick to AP style. And every single piece that you possibly put out in the marketplace, if it's an email blast, if it's a postcard or an ad, you always need and should have a call to action in that marketing piece. You know, I've listed a few here. You know, contact me today for a private consultation with a phone number, and or visit my website ad, or to view more listings, or whatever you want, or your goal is for that particular piece. You always want to have a call to action in there. You know, you're spending your money to get your message in front of somebody. So you want someone either to pick up the phone, to get on your website, or email you, or do something from that particular marketing piece. So to make sure that you go ahead and put a call to action in there, that's very important for you as well.
We do have a question on
Sure.
chat, and it's from Doreen. She's asking, can we make an appointment with you to have you review our marketing plan?
Absolutely.
Or to help
I'd be happy to sit with any of you if you have one, or give you tips and pointers to create one.
Beautiful.
Another one, Tess, or that was?
No, sir.
Okay, great. We'll move on. So we talked about messaging. Now I want to talk a little bit about layout. So your layout can absolutely speak to luxury. And just like we talked about body copy, and I said less is more, less is also more in your ad layout. You know, negative space is your friend. You know, you don't have to cram everything into an ad and put, you know, a paragraph of copy or whatever it is into an ad. You know, you will ooze luxury if you pare that down. And you can see some examples here on the right. Here's a newly layout for our home look preview. This is, I think, our Florida Weekly ad that we've done. You know, we didn't cram little postage size stamps all the way across in the ad. And you can see we have some larger photos and minimized copy. So it's pretty clear and visually appealing. Again, and you can see, you know, the Bill Earls ad we recently redesigned for them here, and you know, we've increased photos and minimized copy and used negative space and white space in an ad. So you can see how upscale and luxurious his new ads are going to look when they come out in the paper. So you know, other factors when you're doing this, and I know if you're using our marketing department, we will obviously take all of these into consideration. I know our graphic designers are all very versed on this type of stuff. So, but you know, if you're using an outside designer or doing some things yourself, you know, you want to limit the amount of fonts you have in there. If you have these crazy script fonts, and then, you know, like a Times New Roman or a Arial or whatever fonts you're using, you know, I would try to stick to maybe one or two. That's it. I understand if you want to put some uniqueness in there, that's fine. But I wouldn't go crazy and get too many different fonts in there. We had mentioned all caps. You know, you don't want to scream at anybody. And typically, in general, you know, all caps, depending on how you use it, is sometimes hard to read. So for titles and different things, I understand. Like, we've even done it here on our ad on the right-hand side. You can see we've called out the individual neighborhoods with all caps, but you see directly below, when we're giving addresses and stuff, we're going back to a regular font. So size, I want to touch on size here. So, you know, I realize that our market is an older market, but I also want to say that, you know, a lot of people like to increase font size so large that it's just overbearing. And you don't need to do that. And for a more clean and luxury feel, you can minimize that font size as well, as long as it's still legible for your eyes. And if you wear, see, I even wear readers, so I have to put them on to see anything these days. So, but I would say just don't go too big. You know, there's no need for it. Just some other factors that I threw in here when you're doing and creating marketing pieces that can speak to luxury, in addition to layout and fonts and sizes and things, is paper is a big deal when you're doing mailings and things like that. I know if you go through Express Docs, which we'll touch on, you have the opportunity to update it or add, maybe a soft touch feel or a gloss code or something like that. It really makes a difference when you're getting things and touching and feeling. And the weight of paper, if you're printing brochures or doing different things outside of Express Docs or maybe at a local printer, if your budget can handle it, I will tell you that it's always better to go up a little bit in your paper weight to make it more sturdy and the quality of that and the touch and feel. And that does make a difference in the overall packaging of your marketing piece. So I want to touch on that as well.
James, you have a compliment from Stuart Miller in the chat. He just says home look looks much better to him.
Great. Thanks, Stuart. I appreciate that, buddy. All right. So we talked about all of these things that you can do to get your marketing message out and how to do it. So I want to touch on some tools now that we have for you to be able to do this. So we do have Express Docs, as I mentioned several times, so you can log into Express Docs. You can send postcards out of there. For those of you that are ninjas, we do have flow postcards available to you in there. You can do your property brochures and also reorder your business cards. So just real quick for those of you that are not that familiar with it. So you can see from my JRW, if you went to marketing, right here under tools is Express Docs. So when you physically click on this, it is going to bring you to Express Docs that looks exactly like this, okay? So in here you can see you have brochures and postcards for the JRW collection here. And you have a color collection, brochures and postcards, and you have a Ninja postcards for flow and things like that. So you have a bunch of these pieces available to you, and this system is very easy. If you just clicked on any of these and went into this, you can just choose your postcard, hit select, and it really just walks you through the entire process as you go through. Hit the next button. You can fill in your information and your photos and all that kind of good stuff. You can upload your mailing list directly to the system, and it will mail, print, stamp, mail, postage, the whole thing directly for you. So then now you can get out to your sphere of influence. So I've also on this talked about Rosora and Delta, which is your email, your bulk email platforms. Okay, so we also have two different systems available to you. So if you have your website through us, you are part of the Delta system. So that is under the same spot. If you went right here to marketing on my JRW and you went to your new Delta agent login, which is right here, you're going to see that it brings you to the Delta system. And you have e-cards right here. And our e-blast, I sent something out about our company newsletter and that market report the other day. And I know some of you are using it. But you have e-cards right here. So if you clicked on that e-card section, you will see that you have a ton of templates here for you that you can email out. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be property. If you just filter by holidays, you can see that, there's a bunch of stuff already loaded in here for you. You have Easter, Valentine's Day, Yom Kippur, Hanukkah, Christmas, 4th of July, all of that kind of stuff. So if you don't have listings, you still have the availability to have another touch point and another, up your frequency with your individual sphere of influence through this Delta system. So just know that this stuff exists. Now the Rosora system is a paid system. I think it's 15 or 20 bucks a month. But when you're in here in Express Docs on the homepage, you can see there's an email marketing tab right here. Hopefully you can see that highlighting on the screen right here on the top right. So if you clicked on that, you can see that this will log you into another email marketing platform that sort of does the same thing that Delta system does. But there's marketing pieces in here as well that you can create a marketing piece And there are some templates in here. You can see here's our newsletter templates that are here available for you as well. So we do have the tools available for you.
James, we have a question from Tom.
Sure.
He's asking if there is currently a strategy to market to our northern states. And we have several comments after that, so I'll let you answer that one before I pose the next one.
Okay, great. If you can just actually hold that, and it's about 2 slides from now,
Beautiful.
and we will touch on that. All right.
I find the font size for the agent information, including our name, is too small. I feel it leaves too much room for the card to be thrown away without ever noticing who the sender is. How can we have options for at least the size of our personal information?
Is that in Express Docs?
I assume so. Susan, this is from Susan Hughley. Is that from Express Docs? If you want to just type yes or no in chat or unmute yourself, feel free to do that. Susan says yes.
Okay, and I'm not sure right now that Express Docs has that capability to, while you're in there, to increase font size. I think what happens is if you type a lot of copy, it decreases the font size to make it fit for you. So if you minimize copy, I believe that it actually it's dynamic, so it gets a little larger for you within that system. But if you're having some issues with layout or anything like that, you can always contact one of our graphic designers. They can put a custom postcard together for you as well, and then upload it into your account as a template. So you have that option. If there's something that you don't like or you're not finding within the system, you can always create something custom.
And then Donna Marcotte asked, can those templates be used in another email system or only through Delta? I think you've already answered that with Express Docs, James, but I'll let you handle that.
Yeah, it's the templates in there are specifically for that system. But if we have 2 systems available, which you said, through Express Docs, which is Resora, that platform in there, and Delta. You cannot use them outside of that system. I don't know if you have like, there's a ton of other email platforms out there, like Constant Contact and Emma and MailChimp and some of those other ones. But we do not have the ability to necessarily upload those into other systems. There are only those 2 available for you right now. All right. Okay, so we talked about putting that budget and plan together, and I want to talk about some local advertising opportunities that we do have available for you. I know hopefully you're reading some emails, and you can see at the bottom here it says contact Julie Littman. Hopefully you're seeing some of her emails go out to you. She's constantly sending emails out from some co-op opportunities, meaning so we place and buy ads in a lot of local magazines and newspapers that we offer up to our agents at a very reduced rate. So you can come in and buy an individual square in that publication to advertise your listing. So I just listed a few over here, and these are a few examples. I know, again, that Julie Littman sends out a bunch of them. So you can always contact her if you have other places that you want to advertise that maybe isn't in the email she sent that particular day, because we're always looking to fill spots in some of our publications. Some sell out very quickly, some others do not. So you can see there's a few examples: Naples Daily News, Florida Weekly, Fort Myers News Press, Pelican Bay Post, Marco Island Sun. So same goes for magazines. So we have a bunch of opportunities there as well. Gulf Shore Life, Naples Illustrated. There's a few chamber magazines and Life in Naples, Naples Portfolio. I know Julie actually came to me this morning and talked about Naples Portfolio. We only had 2 people that wanted to be in that, so we have some space available. And that one, we're just going to run a brand ad today or this month in it. But so there are opportunities out there if you have listings that you want to get additional exposure for in the local market. So make sure that you look out for those emails. So I also want to talk about our digital stuff in social media as well. So obviously, I'm sure all of you know Scott Kelsey, and he is our digital media manager. And currently, right now, all of your listings get a 5-day boost on HomeSpotter. So, and that does go to Facebook, Instagram, and affiliated sites. So that automatically happens for you whenever your listings come in. But there's also opportunities for you to extend that and market yourself and your individual listings on those social media sites. It's a great opportunity. I know we started a new campaign, and I think we had Scott, if you can chime in. I think in 1 week we had 35,000 views or something like that from our campaigns. He's shaking his head. Yes, I could see. Yep. So so it's a great way to get your listing in front of people. And if you're having problems or you want information on it, please reach out to Scott. He can certainly help you and guide you and walk you through getting your listing on Facebook or on any social media platforms.
A couple of questions for you, James.
Sure.
Let's see. Will we have newer templates for Delta?
Yes, that is my ultimate goal, is to revamp that system. We are waiting for an update to come in the system. I'm hoping it will be next month. They are working on it diligently, but as of this time, we cannot edit and update templates in that system. So what you're seeing in the Delta system right now is templates that they have loaded for us. So my goal is to put company branded templates with our color schemes and our layouts and matches our brand within that system. So stay tuned. That is on my agenda and on my list of to-dos.
A follow-up question that you may have partially just answered. The legacy, this is from Joni, the legacy templates in Resora are being discontinued. Can you create new Zephyr templates for us in Resora?
Yes, so there are, so Resora just updated its platform to the new platform. Some of the templates came over and I guess some didn't. I wasn't quite familiar with which ones did and did not come over in that platform. But yes, there will be templates created in that platform as well. Okay, so yeah. Anything else, Tess?
Not right now.
All right, great. We'll move on. So we talked about our local opportunities, and I want to touch on some regional and global and international opportunities that we have through our Luxury Portfolio International. Things like I've just listed a few here. There are others. Talk about Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, Unique Homes, International Property Travel, and there is a LPI magazine. So just like when Julie Littman sends out emails to you that says, hey, here's an opportunity for you to advertise your listing in the local Gulf Shore Life magazine, LPI does the same exact thing on a regional basis. I know somebody asked that, is there opportunities to get our listings outside of this region and select different regions? And absolutely 100% there is through LPI. So you have opportunities like that. There is you can go on the LPI website. There's a media kit. I can send you guys links. If you email me individually, I can say, yes, here you go. They also have digital opportunities you see on the right-hand side here through Mansion Global and online listing banner ads, and they have a digital bundle as well. So if you wanted to get your listing out there on different websites, or you can certainly do that and advertise your individual listings outside of this area. Obviously, the listings for LPI, this is for $1 million and up. So if you have your luxury listings, that's the qualifying price point for that. So
it was Tom Grifferty who had asked that question a little bit earlier. So Tom, that previous slide was the answer to your question.
And this one actually right here, Tess, because we're talking about regions right here. So you can see this happens to be the Wall Street Journal. So you can see all the colors broken up on the map here is the different regions in which you can select from Wall Street Journal. So if you said, hey, I only wanted to reach the Northeast or the Midwest or whatever region you want, or just the Florida region, you can see how that's broken up across the United States right here. So there's an opportunity absolutely for you to pick individual regions. And obviously it's a little less expensive when you choose a region as opposed to a national version of Wall Street Journal. So
James, for the properties that are below $1 million, isn't it true that our other digital programs are maybe reaching some of those out-of-state people also if they happen to have visited Naples or shown an interest in Naples?
Absolutely, Phil. So what Phil's talking about is our device ID program that we just started. So in August 1, we started a brand new digital program that is actually, it's really neat. It's a big brother type thing here. But so anybody who's been to Naples within the past 6 months, and we can pinpoint them by their cell phone. So it's a device ID. So from their cell phone, we can tell that they have been at the Ritz-Carlton in Naples, or the Port Royal Club, or the Ritz-Carlton, or the Naples Grand. We can tell that they've been at a specific place. It's called geofencing. You put a ring around the hotel and say, I want to pinpoint anybody who's been there. So when those people leave and they're back up north and they're in Ohio, or they're in New York, or they're over in Miami, back over, they might have come over here when we opened up a little bit through this. We are serving them up web banners on their cell phones and tracking them and driving all of that traffic back to our John R. Wood website to view your individual listings. So our digital program is very wide reaching, and there's no price point associated with it, obviously, because all of the things we're doing all drives traffic back to our website to promote your listings on our website and your sellers' listings. So it's a great program, and that's one piece of the puzzle of our entire digital program. But it's a very, very, very unique thing that we're doing that is targeting people that have been to Naples that now are outside of the area as well. All right. So this happens to be my last slide here. And if I could, again, I said this at the beginning of this presentation, and if I can leave you with one thought throughout this entire thing, which is consistency is key. And that's don't do anything once. And I'll tell you that in the example of direct mail, let's take that for example. Say you have a neighborhood that's 1,000 people, and you can't afford to do 1,000 people every month. Well, cut that in half and do 500 instead, so you can have more frequency in that message, as opposed to doing everybody once. Cut it in half and do them twice, sort of thing, that type of a mentality. So consistency is definitely key in your marketing. So I would just absolutely want to leave you with that. And please, if there's any time that you would like to sit down and I said earlier to go over a marketing plan, review what you're currently doing, or just want to talk about your messaging, we can certainly do that. I'm available to you to help you be successful in your business and your marketing. So please reach out to me. That's not a problem. So,
James, there was a follow-up question from Tom and Carmen. And Tom and Carmen, if you want to ask directly, feel free to unmute yourself. Anybody on the meeting, feel free to unmute yourself and ask additional questions. But their follow-up was, is that automatic, or do we have to sign up? And I think that was to the previous slide or two ago with regard to targeting people in other areas.
The geofencing.
no, wait. So we're doing that as a company. So you don't have to sign up or do anything. It's essentially we're using targeted ads to drive people to the website to view your listings. So there's nothing you have to do. That's something as a company initiative that we've taken on to increase our website traffic and help promote you and your listings.
Okay.
Thank you. You got it.
James, the geofencing, is that just for Naples? Is it for Bonita as well?
Yeah, we've picked strategic areas up and down the coast. So that was just using that as an example.
from Doreen. She says, wow, thank you so much. Lots of great stuff.
You got it, Doreen.
Any other questions for James? All right, then if we could just give James a unanimous, unmute yourselves first. Very loud round of
Thanks,
applause.
James.
And
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So glad you're part of the John R. Wood family. Welcome.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Tess.
that's
Glad to be
cool.
here. you very
Thank
much.
you.
Take care, everyone. Have a great day.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
James.
Bye.
Thank you.